Now, ladies and gentlemen, our program will now proceed with a high-level address from the Acting Regional Chief Operating Officer of Anglophone West Africa, Mbongue. It gives me great pleasure to bring to the podium Mr. Alain Thierry Mbongue.
Your Excellencies, John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellencies, Carlos Villanova, President of the Democratic Republic of Sao Tome and Principe, Honorable Minister Ofosu Ajare, Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Ghana, Honorable Salma Ashipada Musavui, Minister of International Relations and Trade, Namibia, Your Excellencies, Ministers, Ambassadors, Head of Missions of the Diplomatic Corps, CEO of Corporate Captains of Industry, Mrs. Patricia Poku Diaby, CEO of Plot Enterprise Ghana Limited, Sir Sam Jonah, Chair, Advisory Board, African Trade Chamber, Mrs. Benedicta Lassi, Executive Chair, African Trade Chamber. Please permit me to stand on already established protocol. It is a distinct honor and privilege to address you today at the Africa Trade Summit 2026 on behalf of Dr. George Elombi, President and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Mbongue. We wish to express our sincere appreciation to the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and to the government and the people of Ghana for their gracious hospitality in hosting this significant convening. Ghana has always been a beacon of light, as reflected in its active participation in the continental free trade area. Hosting this summit reflects Ghana's commitment to a vibrant and prosperous Africa, and we are truly grateful. I would like to acknowledge the African Trade Chamber for organizing this important summit. In a global landscape of vast trade and investment opportunity, this platform is crucial. As we convene today, we must transition, as has already been said, from ambition to action. This is a call for a meaningful impact and transformative change. Each and every one of you has a vital role to play, and together we can unlock the continent's potential. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we come together at this summit during a critical juncture in Africa's economic journey, the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, represents a remarkable opportunity to transform our trade landscape. However, our success relies not only on the agreements we forge, but also on our collective capacity to produce competitively, enhance the value of our products, and facilitate the efficient movement of goods and services across borders. Mbongue's mission is to promote, finance, facilitate, intra-Africa and extra-African trade, and transform Africa's trade structure by amplifying manufacturing, championing beneficiation, and cultivating regional markets that can embrace what we create. Afreximbank is committed to advancing Africa's industrial and trade agenda through strategic initiatives in Ghana and across the continent. We advocate for industrial parks and special economic zones as essential tools for expediting industrial development, promoting intra-African trade, and enhancing export growth. In the African context, industrial parks and special economic zone can be used to drive labor-intensive industrialization and value-added agro-processing, fueled by inputs from the continent's agricultural commodities. In collaboration with Arise integrated industrial platforms, Afreximbank supports governments and private sector's investors through a structured approach that includes developing critical hard infrastructure within and around industrial parks and special economic zones, ensuring that goods produced in these zones can be traded and accessed in regional and international markets, improving the business environment to facilitate trade and investment in manufacturing, promoting investment to attract foreign direct investment and enhance market access for made-in-Africa goods. Afreximbank has established itself as a leader in the promotion of industrialization across Africa over the past decade, having disbursed over $2 billion in debt and equity capital to support the development of industrial parks and special economic zones. In collaboration with its associate company, Arise IIP, the bank has successfully implemented 5 operational special economic zones in Gabon, Benin, Chad, Togo, and Rwanda, and is also engaged in ongoing projects in 9 additional countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the bank has implemented several initiatives to promote the development of special economic zones and industrial parks. Under this effort, we have created the African Trade Distribution Company, ATDC. The bank supports special economic zone and industrial parks by establishing export trading companies. The Continental ATDC, backed by a $1 billion in financing, ensures that goods produced in these zones can access regional and international markets. Secondly, implant initiative for financing support. Business development officers are deployed in the industrial parks and special economic zone to provide tenants with necessary financing and banking services, facilitating the export of products and expanding investment along trade corridors, including China and India. Project development support. The bank collaborates with member countries to develop industrial parks and special economic zones. Notable projects include partnership with the government of Kenya to establish 2 special economic zones and assisting the government of Malawi in pre-feasibility studies for 2 industrial parks, to name just but a few. The African Quality Assurance Centers. The bank is establishing ACACs, the African Quality Assurance Centers across Africa, to provide testing, inspection, and certification services. With over $100 million invested, these centers ensure that made-in-Africa products meet international standards, facilitating trade under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Comprehensive support services. The bank offers an export development program that includes capacity building, financial support, trade information, investment promotion, and access to a digital market. In terms of risk mitigation instruments, the bank provides tailor-made insurance solutions with AfrexInsure and has an investment guarantee facility to cover foreign direct investment inflows. We also advocate for collaboration with sovereign wealth and pension funds. The bank works with these funds to promote active development, investing in special economic zone and the broader industrialization agenda, tapping into an estimated $250 billion in Africa's domestic resources for development projects. The bank emphasizes the importance of domestic resources mobilization and encourages African sovereign wealth and pension funds to shift focus from offshore investment to domestic projects. It promotes collaborative strategies to align investment with Africa industrialization goals. Your Excellencies, ladies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mbongue has identified intra-African trade and AFCFTA implementation as a central pillar in fulfilling its mandate. The bank's vision for integrating industrialization with regional trade under AFCFTA involves several key strategies: infrastructure development, enhancing intra-African trade. In order to address the transit challenges, the bank developed the African Collaborative Transit Guarantee Scheme, which is already been implemented in COMESA in the Southern Africa. The scheme will allow goods to move across the continent under a single technology-enabled continental custom bonds, promoting intra-African trade under the AFCFTA. We are already working with the AFCFTA Secretariat to expand this scheme at a continental level. In terms of policy advocacy and harmonization, the bank works with African government, African Union, African Regional Organization and Standardization to advocate for policies that facilitate trade and industrialization. The Africa Trade Gateway, this one is very important. Digital infrastructure to operationalize, to enhance intra-African trade and fast-track AFCFTA implementation. The African Trade Gateway is already working today in real market across over 35 countries in Africa with real transactions backed by real financing with more than 100 commercial banks, more than 45 trade associations, and more than 40,000 verified business profiles, more than 10,000 active importers and exporters, and $4 billion in requests for proposal generated with $150 million closed so far. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to give you this brief synopsis of the work we are doing at Mbongue to help transform the structure of Africa's trade. On behalf of the President, Dr. George Elombi, I reaffirm Mbongue's commitment to collaborating with governments, the private sector, and partner institutions to achieve our common goal. The bank is poised to use its financial instruments and extensive continental presence to support Africa's industrial and trade transformation. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you success at the Africa Trade Summit.